combat the adverse effects of climate change in Kano State, and by extension in northern Nigeria and in Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, we have in our presence various dignitaries, representatives of government agencies, policy makers, and other members of Kano State Executive Council to witness this great launch of what I said is going to be a very historic effort in combating the adverse of climate change in Kano State. My sincere apologies one more time for starting this a little bit after time as a result of some few issues we faced. But by the special grace of God, we are going to begin this event proper. Before I recognize the presence of the dignitaries we have here and various speakers that are going to speak at different segments of the event and also establish the agenda, I want to request for us to all stand for the national anthem, please.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign fatherland. Our flag shall be a symbol that truth and justice reign. In peace or battle honored, and this we count as gain. To hang on to our children a banner without stain. O God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed. And so with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed.
Thank you very much. We may sit. I used to have a belief that as adults we can learn anything we set ourselves to, but the new national anthem is proving me wrong every day. I have tried so hard. I can only remember parts of it, but I'm still hopeful that before I become 40, I would be able to sing the new national anthem all by myself. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. I want to, at this point, invite Alhaji Lamido Idris Bayero, Fagachin Kano, to give us the opening prayer.
Sallu alaihi wa sallimu taslima. Salati goma goma ga annabi. We ask you for blessing of this gathering. We ask you for blessing of whatever is going to be deliberated here. We ask you to bless this initiative. We ask you, even if it is not going to be beneficial to us, to be beneficial to the next generation that is coming. Because obviously, this initiative may not be felt for now, but in the future, it will be felt. Please, we ask Allah, let him answer our prayers and let the climate come back to its own natural environment. Thank God.
we can do better, please. A round of applause for Fagachin Kano Alhaji Lamido Idris Bayero. Sir, the Executive Governor of Kano State, His Excellency Engineer Abakabir Yusuf, ably represented by Alhaji Ibrahim Umar Farouk, who is the Secretary to the State Government.
Nigeria, hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribes and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians all are proud to serve our sovereign motherland. Our flag shall be a symbol that's true
Represented here,
and just
Ibrahim Umar Farouk, the
in peace to all, and the countess came to hand unto our children a banner without stain. O God of all creation, grant these our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, and so with peace and plenty, Nigeria.
Sunusi, Sarkin Sulubawa, Hakimin Rimi, Suleiman Lawal, Alhaji Suleiman Lawan, Brian Kano, Hakimin Zakirai, Alhaji Isa Bashir Mahi Bayero, Wakilin Dallatin Kano, Malam Ibrahim Musa Idris, the Special Advisor to His Excellency the Executive Governor of Kano State on Health, my very good brother and friend, Dr. Nazir Haluru, the Director General, Kano State Investment Promotion Council, other invited guests, our speakers, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you to the Kano State Government Climate Policy Launch. Today is the day where we are going to unveil the result of a meticulous work that took about 24 months to produce. The journey towards producing this document started about 20 months ago, when Kano State government requested for the FCDO's technical assistance. At the time, the partnership to engage, reform, and learn, a project that was being implemented in Nigeria, in Kano, had presence in Kano. They mobilized resources to produce a policy, a climate change policy that is going to shape how Kano is going to solve the problem of climate change. But beyond solving the problem, the policy is also going to chart a way, a solution, a roadmap, a way forward as to climate investment in Kano State and by extension, Nigeria. This work started in July, in October of 2023, and by July 2024, UNICEF also came in to support, to provide technical support. Stakeholders engagement, ladies and gentlemen, started in February 2024, and this is July 2025. We have a policy ready for launch. Beyond just the policy, we're also going to unveil an implementation plan and a supporting law that is going to guide how the policy is going to be implemented. Ladies and gentlemen, you will agree with me if I say today is quite historic in Kano State. Today is quite historic for the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change. You might ask, why this policy? Why do we need a climate change policy? Like we mentioned yesterday, during the Kano Climate Justice Summit, the issue of climate change affects everyone, from the elite, from the diplomats, Nations headquarters, to other diplomats at African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa, to policymakers in Abuja, to executives in Kano State, to the chairman of a local government, to a random woman or random man or random woman that sells granite at a remote area in Tudunwada or in any local government in Kano State. Climate change affects us all. Like we saw last year in Maiduguri, and earlier this year also in Mokwa and in other places, the negative effects of climate change are changing narratives. They affect the economy, they affect education, they affect healthcare, they affect almost every sector of human endeavor. And because of this, we have to take action. And we can't wait for solutions to be brought to us from somewhere else. The solutions to our problems have to come from here. And this is one of the reasons, chiefly the main reason why the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change embarked on this with the support of FCDO PACE project. Ladies and gentlemen, for the next few hours, we're going to witness the launch, but then also, in addition, a few other activities that are going to enlighten us in so many ways and also entertain us. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to read out our agenda for today, and after that, establish the protocol for the day, upon which we would proceed with the items on the agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to begin with a keynote address that is going to be delivered by we're going to start with opening remarks and welcome address that is going to be delivered by the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Environment and Climate Change, after which we would proceed to a keynote address that is going to be delivered by Mr. William Robinson, the Head of Governance and Stability, British High Commission in Nigeria. We'll take a few solidarity remarks from development partners here and other partners that made this policy happen and that made this event happen also, after which we'll take a presentation which is going to provide an overview of the policy itself and other regulations that have been drafted. We'll have a panel discussion, after which we'll proceed with the launch of the Kano State climate change policy. We'll take a few presentations from 3 young people and companies that are doing great work with regards to climate change in Kano. We'll take 3 presentations from 3 companies to show some innovation that is happening right here in Kano State, which hopefully we hope is going to be exported to other parts of the country and other parts of the continent also. Ladies and gentlemen, after that, we'll proceed with our networking and prayer break, after which we'll take our lunch. This is the agenda. This is the agenda for the day. In case there's need for any change in the agenda, I'm going to announce it, and this also establishes the protocol for the day. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, thank you so much for coming. I hope you're going to have a great day. My name is Ahmed Muhammad Ahmed, and I'm going to be your host throughout the day from now, 11 a.m. Till about 3 or 4 p.m. when we are going to finish the event. With no further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Environment and Climate Change, Dr. Tahir Muhammad Hashim, to deliver his opening remarks and welcome address. A round of applause for him as he proceeds to the podium.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, the People's Governor, Alhaji Abakabir Yusuf, ably represented by Alhaji Umar Farouk, the Secretary to the Kano State Government. Alhaji Kabiru Tijjani Hashim, representing His Royal Highness Malam Muhammad Sunusi II. Alhaji Lamido Idris Bayero, the Pagacin Kano Hakimin Gari, Alhaji Isa Bashir Mahe, wakilin Dallatin Kano, Mr. William Robinson, the head of Governance and Stability, British High Commission, Nigeria, the Director General, Can Invest, Special Advisor to His Excellency on Health Matter, who double as the personal physician to His Excellency, Head of Government Agencies here present, the Executive Secretary of Watershed Erosion and Climate Change Management Agency, the Project Coordinator of the Akrisal Project, Technical Advisors to the Ministry, Professor Babana Begu, Hassan Hajjaj, Alhaji Suleiman Lawan, the Brian Kano Hakimin Zakirai, representatives of honorable commissioners here present, my 2IC, who double as the acting permanent secretary of the Kano State Minister of Environment and Climate Change, the directors of the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change, technical advisors, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. It is with profound honor that I welcome you all to this historic gathering, the official launch of the Kano State Climate Change Policy. This moment is more than a ceremonial moment, it is symbolic. It marked a bold and unambiguous declaration of our collective resolve to confront the climate crisis with urgency, with clarity, and with purpose. Today, Kano State sends a clear message to Nigeria, to Africa, and to global community. We are not standing on the sidelines, we are taking decisive actions. Under the visionary leadership of His Excellency Alhaji Abba Kabir Yusuf, Kano State has chosen the path of climate responsibility, resilience, and reform. The launch of this policy is not an isolated event. It is part of a broader framework of climate governance that we have been deliberately building since the beginning of this administration. The climate change policy provides a strategic roadmap for mitigation, adaptation, and inclusive climate governance across all sectors, from agriculture to health, from transport to energy. It is the first of its kind in northern Nigeria and one of the few sub-national climate policies in the country. It reflects not only expert input, but also community voices, youth perspectives, and gender-sensitive frameworks. But our work does not end here. Today, we are also inaugurating the Kano State Climate Change Steering Committee, a high-level, multi-sectoral body that will oversee the implementation, coordination, and accountability of climate actions across Kano State. This committee represents our commitment to institutional coordination and shared responsibility. We're equally proud to unveil two critical legal instruments that will strengthen our environmental protection framework: the Kano State Environmental Pollution Control Law and the Kano State Environmental Pollution and Waste Control Regulations 2025, both available in English and Hausa, to ensure accessibility and compliance across our communities. These laws empower us to tackle pollution, regulate waste, and protect public health with the full backing of the law. They signal that in Kano State, environmental impunity will no longer be tolerated. Together, the policy, the steering committee, and these regulations form the three pillars of a new era of climate governance in Kano State, one that is coordinated, inclusive, and enforceable. Ladies and gentlemen, we do not pretend that this journey will be easy. The climate crisis is real, and its impacts are already being felt in our communities, from drought to flood in the city. But we are launching this policy document today as something out of fear. It is hope, courage, and structure. We're building a Kano that is not only climate aware, but climate ready. A state where our children can breathe clean air, where our farmers can rely on more resilient ecosystems, and where our industry can grow sustainably. On behalf of the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change, I would like to thank our development partners, particularly PES, as well as technical experts and all stakeholders who contributed to the drafting and validation of this policy document. To His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, Alhaji Abba Kabir Yusuf, we say thank you for your leadership, your political will, and your unwavering support to this agenda. To everyone gathered here today, thank you for being part of this historic step forward. Let this launch mark the beginning of accelerated action, deeper collaboration, and stronger resolve. Kano is ready. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Environment and Climate Change. Thank you for that excellent remark, but also for the leadership thus far at the ministry. You would all agree with me, the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change has the kind of leadership it needs in this day and age. I was very happy to hear that Kano is not just being ready for climate, but we're trying to build a climate-aware citizenry. It is very important for that to happen because, like was mentioned yesterday, the average age here might be around 30 or 40, and in the next 50 years, or 60 years, or 70 years, most of the people that are here might not really still be in this world. So it's the responsibility of the younger population to lead at that very period. And so it is important for them to be aware of the challenges that we are facing now and what the future is going to look like. Honorable Commissioner, thank you so much for that remark and for the work that has been done so far and the work that continues to be done. Before we move to the next item on the agenda, I want to recognize the presence of a few personalities, some that joined a little after we started, and those that have been here that I omitted. First is Dr. Titilope Fakoya, who is the Deputy National Team Leader, Partnership for Agile Governance and Climate Change. Thank you so much, Ma. It's good to have you again. Also, we have in attendance Alhaji Aminu Abdullahi Nasidi, who is Hakiman Sumaila, and also Galadiman Dajin Kano. So it's good to have you. Thank you so much for coming. That being said, we'll move to the next item on our agenda, which is going to be the keynote address to be delivered by William Robinson, who is the head of Governance and Stability, British High Commission. He's going to talk about climate justice in Africa, a call to action, commitments and priorities for Kano State. Please, a round of applause for him as he proceeds.
Your Excellency, Your Royal Highness, ladies and gentlemen, can you hear me? Permit me to stand on the protocols already established, and forgive me if I've missed out any people on this list. I want to get straight to the content, as I know that we're all wanting to move on to the discussions around the policy launch. Can I just say that it's a great honor to join you today to celebrate what I think has been described as a significant milestone, and this is the launch of the Kano State Climate Change Policy, catalyzing climate action for resilient and sustainable Kano. So on behalf of the United Kingdom, I extend our warmest congratulations to the government and to the people of Kano for this bold and forward-looking step. And I mean that quite literally. This is a bold and significant step. This policy is not just a document. It is a declaration of intent, a roadmap for action, and a symbol of leadership. It reflects a deep understanding that climate change is not a distant threat, but a present and pressing challenge that affects lives, livelihoods, and the future of our planet, and none more so than here in Kano. So tackling climate change requires more than ambition. It demands coordination, collaboration, and a commitment across all levels of government and society. So good climate change governance is built on partnership between ministries, between government and civil society, and of course between nations. It's only through joint working that we can deliver solutions that are inclusive, resilient, and sustainable. The United Kingdom is proud to be a partner to Kano on this journey, and climate is a top priority for the United Kingdom, both at home and abroad, and we are committed to supporting Kano in strengthening climate governance, unlocking access to climate finance, and assisting in innovative initiatives such as the Waste to Wealth programme, which is an inspiring example of how environmental action can also drive economic opportunity. We recognise the unique challenges faced by states like Kano, but we also see the immense potential. With the right support, policies like this one can catalyse investment, empower communities, and build a greener, more prosperous future for us all. So let me assure you, the UK will continue to stand with Kano. We will work together to turn this policy into action and action into impact. So, as we look ahead, let us remember that climate change knows no borders. The choices we make today will shape the world our children will inherit. By working together across governments, across sectors, and across continents, we can rise to this challenge. We can protect our planet, uplift our people, and inspire others to follow. So let me end by saying congratulations once again to the government of Kano and to the people. Let us be the beginning of a new chapter, one of hope, of partnership, and of course of progress. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. William Robinson, Head of Governance and Stability, British High Commission. I had mentioned earlier that if there's any change in the agenda, I'm going to notify you. It seems we may not have His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, ably represented here by the SSG for the whole day. And therefore, we're going to shift His Excellency's speech and the unveiling, and then after that proceed with other items on the agenda. Right before we do that, I want to recognize the presence of Alhaji Muhammad Nasir Wada, Magajin Garin Kano, founder, Green Legacy. So it's good to have you. Thank you so much for coming. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, before I invite His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, ably represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Alhaji Ibrahim Umar Farouk, I want to share two things, two experiences. One happened quite recently. I had wished His Excellency was seated here to hear, but I'm sure the message would reach him. I saw His Excellency pay a visit to two secondary schools recently, quite recently. This is notwithstanding the political undertone that surrounds that visit. And what that taught me was how to separate politics from leadership. And His Excellency, the Executive Governor, has always done that. And we appreciate him and commend him for that. Secondly, I got details, exact details from the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry for Science, Technology and Innovation, that by 2026, January 2026, the whole of Kano State government is going to become digital. The whole civil service is going to be digitized. This is good. This is historic, and I'm very happy. Being in tech for about 20 years now, 2 decades, I'm very, very happy to witness this happening in my lifetime. And you may wonder, what does this have to do with climate? If the government decides to go all digital, how does it relate with climate? But I'll tell you this. Kano State has thousands of units and offices of government spread around the state in 44 local governments and even outside the state. Every day, these units and these offices communicate with each other, and the communication is majorly paperwork. I'm sure in one way or the other we must have seen, maybe when we went to buy kose or fish down the street, you must have seen it wrapped in a paper that contains government information. It happens a lot because these units of government process these papers, and they're quite enormous, and over a period of time they become too much to be stored. So they are sometimes curated, and then other times just let out for other people to use. This migration to digitization is going to significantly reduce our usage of papers, our reliance of paperwork and filing, because everything is going to be digital. So imagine a scenario where a support staff, say a cleaner or a laborer in a particular government offices requests detergent, but instead of writing that request in the paper, he brings out his phone and sends an email. That future is possible. And we are going to see it begin by January 2026. So I want to commend His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, for doing that, and also for setting frameworks and mechanisms to ensure that this happens. Before this was done, the Kano State Information Technology Development Agency was established and passed into law, and this is going to provide the support that this e-governance policy is going to provide the support that it needs. So Your Excellency, the Executive Governor, we want to acknowledge this giant stride and also commend you for this innovation and out-of-the-box thinking. I'm sure with these initiatives, Kano is on the right trajectory for development and success. And I'm sure Kano in the nearest future is going to be exporting solutions. We're not going to be consumers or importers of solutions. We're going to export solutions to the entire northern Nigeria and Africa at large. Your Excellency, the Executive Governor, I want to invite you for your speech, after which you're going to officially unveil this climate change policy document. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, ably represented by the Secretary to the State Government.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. The representative of His Highness, the Emir of Kano, Muhammad Sunusi II, Megirma Wamban Kano, other royal fathers here with us, Mr. William Robinson of the British Council, the Iron Lady of Climate Change, Dr. Titi, Special Advisors to the Governor, Directors General here present, Permanent Secretaries, Assalamu alaikum. His Excellency mandated me, Honorable Commissioner, to represent him and deliver his goodwill message to this historic occasion. He personally wanted to be here, but for certain state engagement, he requested me to stand in for him, and I will deliver his address. But before I do that, I want to re-emphasize the words of wisdom offered by Pagachin Kano in his opening prayer, where he beseeched the Almighty to guide us so that this occasion and the many before it will serve as a veritable investment for future generations. I think this is a very powerful prayer, an investment for future generations. With your permission, I will read His Excellency's address. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today marks a major milestone in our administration's resolve to reposition Kano as a progressive subnational actor in climate governance and environmental sustainability. We are gathered here today for the official launch of the Kano State Climate Change Policy, a landmark framework that reinforces our commitment to sustainable development and responsible stewardship. Upon assuming office, we recognize the urgent need to strengthen our climate governance architecture and integrate climate action into the heart of our development agenda. Guided by our vision for a clean, green, and resilient Kano, we fast-tracked the drafting, stakeholder validation, and final assent of the Kano State Climate Change Policy, which I had the honor to sign into law on 29th of January this year. The policy we are launching today is complemented by a climate change action plan that translates our political commitment into a practical and coordinated implementation pathway. It focuses on key priority areas, including clean energy transition, sustainable land use, green transport, climate finance, and community resilience. This document undoubtedly will guide government, ministries, departments, and agencies, the private sector actors, and development partners in delivering impactful climate solutions across the state. I am proud to report that we have already commenced practical implementation of some of these pillars. As part of our clean energy transition, we have initiated the solarization of public street lights and government facilities across selected areas. This effort, you will agree, is improving energy efficiency, reducing public energy costs, and enhancing public safety and security. In line with our urban beautification and renewal programs, we launched a comprehensive avenue planting campaign beginning with Lodge Road, Race Course, State Road, Murtala Mohammed Way, and now Ahmadi Bello Way. These projects are visible for all to see. This initiative will be extended to all major roads in the state. Additionally, our administration has embarked on the construction and rehabilitation of roads with proper paving to reduce dust emissions and support our afforestation efforts. Our administration has also launched an ambitious tree planting campaign with a target of planting 5 million trees this year alone. This is aimed at reversing the devastating effects of land degradation and climate change while improving air quality, enhancing urban aesthetics, and supporting biodiversity. As a people-focused administration, we believe that climate action must be inclusive. That is why we are prioritizing climate change education, public awareness, and youth engagement. through the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change, in partnership with various stakeholders, we have commenced community and school-based climate education programs to build a culture of environmental responsibility across all tiers of society. Furthermore, we are today, as highlighted by the Honorable Commissioner and Mr. Robinson, here today inaugurating the State Climate Change Steering Committee, the Secretariat, and technical working groups, which collectively will drive the implementation of this policy. This reflects our resolve and commitment to move beyond policy declaration to institutional action, coordination, and measurable outcomes. I wish to commend the Honorable Commissioner for Environment and Climate Change, Dr. Hashim, and his team for their leadership, dedication, and sense of urgency in ensuring that Kano reclaims its place as a front runner and pace setter in environmental governance in Nigeria. Let me also reaffirm the unwavering commitment of my administration to ensure that Kano State remains at the forefront of subnational climate action in Nigeria. We will continue to build partnerships, leverage on innovation, and mobilize the resources to deliver on our vision of a greener and more prosperous Kano. I call on all stakeholders, including development partners, private sector institutions, civil society organizations, traditional rulers, and the general public to support this noble cause, as together we must work as one to secure the environment for the future of our children. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let this occasion go down in history as the day Kano State made a bold and decisive move to embrace sustainability, inclusive and climate resilient future for all. Thank you, and may Allah bless our collective efforts.
That has been His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, Engineer Abubakar Yusuf, ably represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Madam Umar Farouk Ibrahim. From solarization of our streets and other government infrastructure to the huge investment in tree planting in Kano State, which is the highest in the state. 5 million, the highest we did, the Honorable Commissioner some time was saying, the highest we did in the past was about 200,000. But we're doing more than 10x that number now, because to show solid commitment to climate change. Your Excellency, we thank you so much for the effort, and we pray that God Almighty continue to provide you the much needed guidance and support to steer the affairs of Kano State and beyond. That being said, I want to invite the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Environment and Climate Change, Dr. Lahir Hashim, to come on stage as he assists His Excellency, the Executive Governor, to unveil and formally launch this climate change policy. But beyond just the policy, we are also launching here laws that would support the implementation of this policy. So two documents are going to be presented, are going to be unveiled. The first being the climate change policy, and second being related laws that would support or enable the implementation of this policy. I would also invite Dr. Anka of the same ministry to support the Honorable Commissioner in inviting other development partners and dignitaries as we invite them to the stage.
Please, I would like to seize the opportunity and invite Mr. William Robinson, the representative of His Royal Highness Malam Muhammad Sunusi II and the Magajin Garin Kano to please join us on the stage.
GSAP, Sustainable Action for Nature, NCF, NCCC, please join us. Other development partners here present.
Okay, please remain on stage also for photo.
The Iron Lady of Climate Change. It is, without doubt, a milestone today for the people of, for the government and people of Kano State. This demonstrates clearly the commitment and resolve of the administration of Alhaji Abba Kabir Yusuf to reversing the effects of climate change in Kano State. Alhamdulillah. And again, there is another commitment. Dr. Titi has promised to live up to the new title she was offered today as the Iron Lady of Climate Change. So you bear me witness.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. I believe today we have reached a great milestone that inshallah with the effort of the Kano State government and the Commissioner for Environment, with this launch of climate change, Kano State will have better management of the environment, and also it will help for our farms to produce more yield, and by God's grace, inshallah, we will see change immediately. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, Engineer Abba Kabir Yusuf, ably represented by the Secretary to the State Government in person of Madam Umar Farouk Ibrahim, and also His Royal Highness, the Emir of Kano, Madam Muhammad Sunusi II, ably represented by Alhaji Kabir Tijani Hashim, Wamba Kano Hakim and Nasarawa, for that unveiling. We'll take a few minutes to allow His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, to exit as he moves to attend to other matters of state interest. And discuss, I want to recognize the presence of the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry for Environment and Natural Resources, Kaduna State, who is represented by the State Project Coordinator, Nigeria Climate Adaptation, Erosion and Watershed Project, New Map, Kaduna, Mr. Gideon Sachi. Mr. Gideon, it's good to have you here. We acknowledge your presence. Also recognize the presence of Dr. Grace Alawa, who is the Executive Director, Sustainable Action for Nature, and also Alhaji Sani Lokoja, who is representing the Director General, NEMA. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, as he leaves the venue. We thank you so much, sir, for your presence and for the support thus far. Ladies and gentlemen, we would now move to the next item on our agenda, where we will take a few solidarity remarks from some of the dignitaries and partners we have here. In no particular order, I would start with Dr. Titilope Okoya, who is the Deputy National Team Leader, Partnership for Agile Governance and Climate Change, FCDO Peace Project, who are the development partners that supported the development of this policy and also gracefully supported this very event today. Please, a round of applause as she proceeds to give her goodwill and solidarity remark.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. And first of all, I want to say thank you to the SSG for giving me a new title, the Iron Lady of Climate Change. So I'm going to leave Kano here with a new name. And I told him, I said I have already started living up to that name. He said, how? I have not printed what I'm going to say. I have a digital copy. So we're leading the way in keeping it digital. Thank you very much. Your Excellency, Honorable Commissioners, distinguished representatives from the British High Commission, representatives from the federal government and development partners, good morning again. On behalf of the Partnership for Agile Governance and Climate Engagement, PACE, I am honored to stand with the government and the people of Kano State on this occasion Today's launch of the Kano State climate change policy is more than a policy moment. It is a bold declaration of intent, a signal that Kano is ready to act, to lead, and to collaborate in the face of climate crisis. PACE is proud to have worked this journey with Kano, supporting the design, consultation, validation, and now the operationalization of this policy. This achievement is a result of tireless work by state actors, civil society, traditional institutions, and partners, and it reflects what is possible when ambition meets political will. In support of this policy, PACE has been deliberate in ensuring it reflects not only the technical soundness, but also the voices, the realities, and resilience of women, youth, persons with disability, and frontline communities who are often the least responsible for climate change, yet the most affected. The launch resonates deeply with the UK government's global commitment to climate justice, inclusive governance, and locally led adaptation. It also echoes the principles that drives PACE's work across Nigeria, putting people at the heart of policy and ensuring that the most affected by climate change-related decisions are at the table, not as beneficiaries, but as co-creators. We deeply value our collaboration with UNICEF and other FCDO-funded programs, PropCom Plus, LAFIA, Play, and partners across the development space who have contributed their expertise and resources to bring us to this point. As we move from policy to action, PACE remains committed to supporting the next phase, strengthening systems for implementation. This is because policy without action is only a promise. Together, let us turn this policy into impact for the people of Kano and a more resilient future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Titi Lope Fakoya, the Deputy National Team Leader, Partnership for Agile Governance and Climate Engagement, FCDO PACE. I have been told that we'll take some solidarity remarks online. Do we have? If we have them, I would first call Dr. Nkiruka Chidia Maduoke, who is the Special Presidential Envoy on Climate Change and the Director General, and also Chief Executive Officer, National Climate Change Secretariat, NCCCS. Do we have Dr. Nkiruka? Okay, if Dr. Inyobong Abiola Awe, the Director of Department of Climate Change Ministry, Federal Ministry of Environment, is online, we'll take him. Okay, while we get that sorted out, I would invite Manama Aisha Tofa of Startup Kano to also give us her solidarity remarks. Tofa. A round of applause for her, please.
Hello there, guys. I had to wait on this.
Assalamu alaikum, Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, climate champions, and community leaders, good morning. My name is Aisha Tofa, and on behalf of Startup Kano Center for Innovation Development, I am honored to stand here today in solidarity with the people of Kano and all stakeholders gathered for this important milestone, the launch of the Kano State Climate Change Policy. As a hub committed to innovation and social impact, we understand that climate change is not just an environmental issue. It is a development issue, an economic issue, and deeply a justice issue. The communities that we work with, young people, women, entrepreneurs, are already navigating the everyday realities of a changing climate. And yesterday, we had an innovation showcase where you experienced some of the young people that are building solutions around climate change in Kano. We believe that the innovation must be local, inclusive, and responsive. And that's what this policy represents, a collective commitment to listen to the voices from the front lines, to the co-creating solution, and to build systems that are resilient, equitable, and future-focused. Startup Kano stands ready to continue by empowering climate-focused innovators, supporting green entrepreneurship, and using technology to amplify awareness, data, and action. Today's launch is not just a policy document, it's a call to bold collaboration. And we are proud to work with the state government in this journey and to support other partners and the community. Together we can build a climate-smart Kano. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Chofa, from Startup Kano. Next, I would take the representative of the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry for Environment and Natural Resources, Kaduna State, who is represented by the State Project Coordinator, New Map, Kaduna, Mr. Gideon Sachi. A round of applause for him, please.
Your Excellency, permit me to stand on the already established protocols, and also permit me to read the goodwill message from the Honorable Commissioner for Environment and Natural Resources, Kaduna State, Honorable Abubakar Buba. It is indeed a great privilege and honor to stand here at this landmark event, the official launch of the Kano State Climate Change Policy. The milestone is not only commendable, but timely, especially as our region continues to bear the brunt of climate-related challenges: desertification, land degradation, erratic rainfall, and increased vulnerability of livelihood. The commitment of the Kano State government to strengthening climate governance through a dedicated policy framework is a strong demonstration of the visionary leadership and the foresight of His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, Alhaji Abba Kabir Yusuf. Kaduna State, having launched its own climate change policy and position statement in 2024, we understand the magnitude of what this launch represents: a call to action, a roadmap to resilience, and a promise to future generations. His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kaduna State, Senator Obasani, and the good people of Kaduna State stands with Kano in this strategic journey. We believe that interstate collaboration is not just beneficial, but necessary. As neighboring states in the semi-arid region of northern Nigeria, we are uniquely positioned to develop regional strategies to combat shared threats. Let us harness this moment to build cross-boundary resilience through partnership, knowledge sharing, and joint initiatives. I wish Kano State every success in the implementation of this policy. May these efforts catalyze transformative climate actions that delivers a sustainable and a prosperous future for all. Congratulations once again, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Gideon, for the goodwill messages from Kaduna State, all the way from Kaduna State. Would now take Dr. Nkiruka Chidia Madueke, the Special Presidential Envoy on Climate Change and also Director General and Chief Executive Officer of the National Council on Climate Change and Secretariat, who is joining us virtually. Doctor, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me as well?
Yes, very well. And thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. Good morning. Good morning to everyone. And I especially want to thank the Honorable Commissioner for Environment for inviting us to this very important presentation, this very important dialogue. For us, it's pivotal and it signifies where Nigeria is going to with regards to climate change. And so I'm going to my speech. So distinguished guests, His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, the Honorable Commissioner of Environment and Climate Change, Honorable Representatives of Kano State Government, esteemed development partners, dedicated civil society actors, esteemed members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, this morning, with immense pleasure and a profound sense of shared responsibility that I welcome each and every one of you to this truly historic occasion, the official launch of the Kano State Climate Change Policy. Today is not just another date in the calendar. It's a pivotal moment. It isn't just a significant milestone for resilient people and the progressive government of Kano State, but it's also a monumental step forward in a collective national and global fight against the escalating challenges of climate change. Kano State is renowned for its rich cultural heritage, robust agricultural sector, vibrant commercial spirit, and is once again demonstrating visionary leadership, this time by boldly charting an inclusive course towards climate resilience and sustainable development. On behalf of the National Council on Climate Change Secretary, I extend my sincerest commendation to Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, and the tireless, dedicated team who championed this policy. Your foresight, Your Excellency, and unwavering commitment to align state-level action with our national climate ambitions are clearly outlined in Nigeria's nationally determined contribution, our energy transition plan, our long-term low-emission development strategy, and other critical national policies targeting low-carbon economy and sustainability are truly exemplary. The impact of climate change are no longer after projection. They are a lived reality. From the relentless march of desertification and devastating flooding to soaring extreme temperatures and direct threats to food security, water availability, public health, these challenges disproportionately affect our really vulnerable population, especially in the northern regions of our country. This is precisely why subnational leadership, such as the groundbreaking initiative we have witnessed here today, is in fact absolutely essential. This policy is far more than just a document. It is a framework, the hope for the future generation. It is a clear roadmap for inclusive climate government. It serves as a vital platform for strategic investment in green infrastructure, empowering youth innovation, fostering climate-smart agriculture, and accelerating the adoption of renewable energy. Above all, this policy is a powerful wake-up call to every institution, every community, every individual to recognize their vital role and play their part in this crucial endeavor. At the National Council on Climate Change Secretary, we urge all the people planning to reaffirm our steadfast commitment to supporting Kano State and also national government in the robust full implementation of their climate policy. We stand ready to provide crucial technical assistance, establish effective coordination mechanisms, facilitate data-driven planning, bolster capacity building initiatives, and help unlock vital climate finance. Let us never forget that climate change is not a future problem. It is a now problem. And truly solving it demands nothing less than a bold action, shared responsibility, unwavering leadership at every single level of government. May this momentous launch today inspire every state followed suit, deepen intergovernmental collaboration, and ensure that Nigeria, as a united federation, rises to the defining challenge of our time with immense courage, unwavering coherence, and absolute clarity. Once again, it is my heartfelt congratulations to everyone, to the state, to the Honorable Commissioner, to every team in the Ministry of Environment who worked so hard to put this together. This happened to us last year, and we were part of the journey, and we're very proud of it. I'm really sorry that I'm not there in person, because I have to work up really early this morning to do that. But I want to promise Kano State that by not being there today doesn't mean I'm not going to come to Kano State. Kano State is very important to climate action initiatives that we're taking as a country because of the position and of course the industrial story. And so I want to say to you that please, I know you're going to welcome me when I come very soon again, when I come this year, and I'm very sorry that I couldn't be here in person. I really wish to be there, and congratulations for the one of my heart. I really know that we're going to move forward with this policy that is not just on paper, but is what it is, a marching order and a framework for development for the state and the rest of Nigeria. God bless the Republic of Nigeria. God bless Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Amen. Thank you so much, Dr. Nkiruka, who is the Special Presidential Envoy on Climate Change. And I couldn't agree more with you when you said climate change is not a future problem, it is a now problem. And that is why Kano State government, in partnership with different development partners, particularly and especially the FCDO-funded PACE project, are taking action, because the problem is now and we have to deal with it, not wait in the future. Thank you so much for that. We would also take one last goodwill solidarity remark virtually. But before I invite Dr. Inyo Bong, I want to recognize the presence of Alhaji Dalhatu Abubakar, who is the chairman Al-Hamsad Group of Companies. He joined us in this event. Thank you so much, sir, for coming. It's good to have you. Thank you. Also, I have been informed that there is a car parked outside. It's a BMW, blue in color with the plate number KMC 256LL. It is blocking the way. So if you parked this BMW there, please, you could go and move it as you're blocking the way for others. Do we have Dr. Inyo Bong online? Hi, Dr. Inyo Bong. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead for your...
Excellency, represented by the staff, distinguished Commissioner for Environment and Climate Change, the people of Kano, government officials, stakeholders, and very important ladies and gentlemen. It's with a sense of responsibility and distinct privilege that I join virtually today, bringing you very warm greetings from the Honorable Minister and the Honorable Secretary. Also commending this very honorable event that is taking place today here in the city of Kano. We are very much aware of the efforts that have gone on in the past months to bring this to pass today. The policy which is being launched today serves as a roadmap for sustainable development, focusing on the mitigation efforts and adaptation efforts towards reducing greenhouse emissions and providing resilient communities with capacity to withstand climate shock in the face of disaster. The ministry commends the state government for its foresight and dedication to fostering environmental sustainable growth. This is evident as it shows an understanding of notes that the ministry also identifies with this policy and reaffirms a collective resolve to work together. In closing, I call upon all stakeholders here present for a renewed commitment, collaborative effectiveness, and innovative way of sharing this mission to ensure that we combat climate change for our beloved country, Nigeria. Let us seize this opportunity here today to demonstrate steadfast leadership and to set precedents to all the states to follow. The road ahead demands collective efforts, and I'm confident that together Kano will lead with all the states climate resilience and sustainable development. On this note, I say thank you and congratulate you as we move together towards ensuring we meet our national climate actions. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Dr. Iniobong Abiola, the Director, Department of Climate Change, Federal Ministry of Environment and Climate Change. Ladies and gentlemen, we're also joined in this event by a team from SATA Foundation from Rwanda. I want to recognize the presence of Isabel, who is the Africa Director, SATA Foundation, and also my good friend Benita, all the way from Rwanda. Please, a round of applause for them. I would also invite you, Isabel, for a 2 or 1 minute goodwill message from SATA Foundation. A round of applause for her as she proceeds to the stage.
Good morning. It's a bit loud. It's a pleasure to be here in Kano. This is our first time, and we've been so humbled by the beauty and the warmth of your people, and we're just so grateful. And this is especially exciting for us because we've been working with Green Legacy since September 2024. We hosted a sustainability summit in Kigali, Rwanda, which is where SATA Foundation is based. And the Sustainability Summit of 2024 was really focused on ensuring that as Africans, we're able to understand our own climate change needs. And so it's just exciting and humbling for us to be here. I've had a chance to look at the Kano climate change policy, and I really see that Kano can become a model for the rest of Nigeria, but also for us to learn in other parts of the continent. And so I'm especially excited to be here, and I'm also excited that in October, we'll be hosting the second Sustainability Summit in Nairobi, and that's going to be an incredible opportunity. We're going to have a platform for this policy to be shared with a broader audience. It's very important that we learn from each other, and what works in this state may provide guidance and support to other parts of Nigeria, but other parts of Africa. So congratulations to the team. This is an incredible initiative. It's incredible to see so much thought that has gone into the policy, and I really look forward to the leadership of Kano in the years to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Isabel. I had earlier mentioned that Kano is on the right trajectory to export solutions beyond northern Nigeria, to other parts of the country, and to other parts of Africa. I'm happy this is already happening. This very policy document, just unveiled now and launched today, is going to go to places by the grace of God. I'm happy that in the next climate summit happening somewhere in October, this policy document is going to be presented. And that is Kano's solution to the entire African continent. A round of applause one more time for Kano State Government and for Peace Project for supporting this. Ladies and gentlemen, as we move to the next item on the agenda, I want to recognize the presence of Dr. Ismail Ariyu Damaraya, who is the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Finance, Kano State. It's good to have you, sir. Thank you so much for coming. At this juncture, I would invite one more time the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Environment and Climate Change, Dr. Dahir Hashim, to come to the stage one more time as he takes us through the new Kano State law, not policy now, but the laws that have been enacted by Kano State government to support these policies and to provide a legal framework for solving much of the climate challenges we are facing as a state. And after that, would have Dr. Anka of the same ministry and Barrister Bahija to also walk us through this very document that has just been unveiled and launched. Honorable Commissioner, you may proceed to the stage, please, for your presentation. A round of applause as he does that.
Thank you, Malam Ahmad. Please, I would like to invite the legal advisor of the ministry, Ajia Bahija, because what I'm going to do here, it's just part of the protocol. It's going to take me like 10-15 seconds, but I will be wearing, a cap of the learned colleagues. Barrister Bahija. Well, as ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, this is the gazetted Kano State Environmental Pollution Control Law. And this is the Environmental Pollution Control Regulation 2025. And what I stand here to do today is to unveil this law, or to kind of, introduce it to the good people of Kano State. In exercise of the powers conferred upon me by Section 3 of the Kano State Environmental Pollution Control Law 2022, and all other powers enabling me in that behalf, I, Dr. Dahir Muhammad Hashim, the Honorable Commissioner for Environment and Climate Change, Kano, hereby make the following regulations. This regulation may be cited as the Kano State Environmental Pollution and Waste Control Regulations 2025 and should come into force from today. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Your Excellency, the Honorable Commissioner, distinguished guests, respected colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. All protocols duly observed. My name is Barrister Bahija H. Aliyu, an environmental law officer with focus on pollution control and waste management. It is an honor to stand before you to speak on laws and regulation guiding pollution control and waste management in Kano State. The Kano State pollution control came into existence in the year 2022. And the Kano State Environmental Pollution and Waste Control Regulation came to supplement its existence in the year 2025. The Kano State Pollution Control and Waste Management Regulation are legal instruments that are used to protect the environment, human health, and promote sustainable development. These laws and regulations define how waste management and how waste and pollution should be controlled and the penalties of the offenses. The aims and objectives of these laws and regulations are to prevent and control air, water, and land pollution. Secondly, to ensure proper control of waste management. Thirdly, to promote sustainable environment and public health. The pollution control law is divided into 4 segments. Part 1 deals with the preliminaries, that is the interpretation section. It deals with the interpretation section and commencement. Part 2 of the law deals with the objectives of the law, that is the general provision of the law. It deals with the objectives of the law and the power given to the ministry to make regulations. Part 3 of the law deals with how to regulate waste management, and Part 4 of the law deals with offenses and penalties. On the other hand, the pollution control law and waste management regulation is an extension and operational framework for pollution control. These laws and regulations are not enough. Compliance, education, and enforcement are the key. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Barrister Bahija, for that. I'll then call Dr. Anka from the same ministry, who is going to take us through the
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I want to on the existing protocol. The Kano State climate change policy, like they said, is a historic and monumental achievement for northern Nigeria. The African countries in the I think. And with the effects of climate change, the insecurity utilize our little resources. With a population of getting to 15 million, and I believe Isabel would testify that in Kigali there are no more than 70 million. So Kano State is a country. So the policy contains in it the thematic areas and strategic pillars, which include mitigation and adaptation plans. So in the mitigation, there's issue that deals with especially energy transition, the green transportation, the emission tracking. Of course, the Honorable Commissioner has promised to set up an MRB center for the greenhouse gas tracking, which is key to supporting the NDCs of Nigeria. We've been participating in the development of NDCs in the country. our template is one of the best at the presentation of the BTR1. And now we are participating in the development 3.0. And we promise, with support of the development partners, to have our state-owned development action plan, state development plan before the NDCs. So it's part of the content of the policy, which the sectors that are critical, because Kano State is an agrarian state. We started with agriculture as part of the thematic areas in the policy, then forestry and other land uses, looking at what deforestation and, is causing to the impact of climate change. Then energy, health, industrial processes and produce use. Then urban development, transport, waste, wash, which includes water, sanitation and hygiene, education, flooding and erosion control, then short-lived climate pollutants. So these are basically the primary and the central thematic areas that the policy has touched. We have digested this in the implementation framework and the state action plan. So I don't want to waste much of our time because we have a copy. We only produce a few copies just for reference purpose, but an e-copy is going to be circulated for larger accessibility to everyone. And it's going to be available on our website. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It's also good to know that the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change is leading the way in sustainable practices. We can't be preaching sustainability and be using papers everywhere. It's good. This policy document is going to be available online on different digital platforms, on the website, I'm sure on other places also for everyone to go and read. And the purpose for this publicity, for making the document public, is climate change affects all of us. And like I mentioned yesterday, when you advocate for justice, you have to trade your freedom with it. You can't advocate for justice and be free. We've been living in freedom for quite too long. Do whatever we want with the environment, use whatever materials we want, pollute the environment in whatsoever way we want. And that is creating a big problem for us. And if we want to solve that problem, then we have to trade our freedom. And that involves changing the way we relate with the environment and being very conscious and intentional about how we relate with our environment. I'm happy to see earlier on the front row, the front row wasn't very much represented earlier, but it's good to see at least some semblance of inclusion and diversity on the front row. But then behind the front row, I can see almost equal representation on both sides, men and women, because climate affects everyone. And one woman that I want to recognize here also is the woman that supports our young Honorable Commissioner to be able to bring all of these innovative ideas and out-of-the-box thinkings, and that is Hajia Amina Muhammad Garuba. She's also a climate enthusiast and advocate. I need not to say more. You know what she does beyond that, because the Honorable Commissioner wouldn't be sitting here all smiles and, you know, these innovative ideas if he had not gotten the support that he needed in other aspects of his life. So it's good to have you, Madam. This brings us to the next item on the agenda. I've been looking forward to this segment because of the quality insights and perspectives we're going to get from this. I always look forward to the panel section of events, summits, conferences, and whatever event I attend or host, because you get people from all walks of life with combined years of experience coming to digest issues, offer perspectives, insights, and solutions to problems. And that is what is going to happen here also. Ladies and gentlemen, would proceed to our panel discussion, which is the only panel discussion, and gradually move into the end of the event with just about a few things remaining. Our next item is panel discussion, and the title of the panel is Climate Action in Kano, From Policy to Practice, Building Resilience Through Policy, Technology, and Local Knowledge. I already like this title and look forward to the wonderful conversations and insights and perspectives that are going to come out of the panel. To lead this discussion would be Dr. Garba Bala Maaji, who's going to moderate the panel. Dr. Garba Bala Magaji is a seasoned economist and consultant engagements across the public and private sectors. He is currently a lecturer at the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. Yesterday it was Bayero University all over the place. It's good to see some diversity and inclusion also. So Dr. Garba Bala Magaji comes from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, and he also runs a successful commodities training business. Okay, I would read a call on the panelists as we try to sort out Dr. Magaji. Next on the panel is, I'm going to reserve this one for the last, but next on the panel is Professor Aliyu Baba Nebegu. Professor Nebegu is a leading expert in fluvial geomorphology and climatic policy. This will be the first time I'm pronouncing this, so forgive me, please. He's a professor, he's an expert in fluvial geomorphology and climate policy, a faculty member at Aliko Dangote University of Science and Technology since 2005. He's also an alumnus of NIPPS and University of Twente. He serves as the technical assistant to the Kano State Commissioner for Environment and consults on environmental impact assessments for Nasria and the Federal Ministry of Environment. Please, a round of applause for Professor Aliyu Baba Nebegu as he moves to the stage. Next on the panel is Ambassador Rabi Yusuf Gizawa. Ambassador Rabi Yusuf is a veteran disability rights and climate justice advocate with 35 years in Kano's health sector. She has helped draft Nigeria's Disability Act 2018 and leads the Center for Empowerment of Older Persons and the Vulnerable. A pharmacy technologist and a peace analyst, she's received multiple national honors, including Member of the Order of Niger. As chair of GADIAC, she works across sectors to advance inclusive environmental action and dignity for elderly and persons with disability. A round of applause for Ambassador Rabi as she moves to the stage. Next is my very good elder brother and friend, one of the young people we have representing His Excellency the Executive Governor of Kano State, not just here, but also as they bring innovative solutions to the people of Kano. Dr. Nazir Halluru is Kano's green investment strategy and previously served as a special advisor to the governor on budget and economic planning. He is currently the Director General of Kano Investment Promotion Agency, Kano Invest. Also, as Nigeria's country manager for Grade 3, Columbia University, he supported national planning using geospatial data. He contributed to Nigeria's Agenda 2015, NPRGS, and co-chaired the Alternate School Program. A pioneer member of the BMJF Geospatial Advisory Board, he bridges investment, climate planning, and development policy at subnational and federal levels. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for Dr. Nazir Halluru as he moves to the stage. last but not the least, I told you I was saving the best for the last, is Dr. Hashim Muhammad Dr. Ahiru Muhammad Hashim, who is the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Environment and Climate Change. He's a medical doctor and environmental leader, also appointed commissioner in 2025. He launched Kano State's climate change policy and planted over 135,000 trees through his Panakia Foundation and currently leads the 5 Million Trees campaign. A former coordinator of the AgriSol project, he has represented Nigeria at the COP27 and COP27 to 29, and the Africa Climate Summit. He is a recipient of the 2025 ISTF Green Award and a fellow of the African Institute of Waste Management. His work drives climate resilience in northern Nigeria. A round of applause for the Honorable Commissioner as he moves to the stage. Okay, as the Honorable Commissioner takes his seat, I would also invite the moderator, whom I introduced earlier, in person of Dr. Garba Bala Magaji, to lead this wonderful and amazing conversation on climate action in Kano from policy to practice, building resilience through policy, technology, and local knowledge. Ladies and gentlemen, sit back, relax, and listen and enjoy this wonderful conversation. Moderator, we have about 45 minutes for that, yes.
Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I stand on existing protocol. Welcome you to this session. Honorable Commissioner, I was wowed and amazed by some of the declarations and then actions taken. I will quote some few things you've said. One, that we acknowledge fear, am I right, and challenges, but at the same time, we are building our activities and future based on hope, courage, and culture. That's a very bold statement. And also, you want to have Kano as the forefront and the leading in climate change activities, not only in the region, but in the nation. We have started seeing some of the actions here, the launching of the policy and even implementation plans. Now, the question that I will ask is, how far have we gone and how far do we want to go?
Well, Prof, this is a very tough one, but I believe in a more simpler term, we have come far. We have come far because for decades, these are the things that we're doing now are things that are supposed to be done 2-3 decades ago. I said we have come far because what we have been liking, the critical ingredient that we have been liking is the political will. And luckily enough, His Excellency has been all out, giving us all the necessary support. For those of us that are conversant with what the Minister of Environment and Climate Change have been doing, you can see our achievement in the last 6 months. We have done over 30 activities. These are activities done with innovation and with a sense of sustainability. Of course, we want to go far. We want to go far as we can. When you talk about climate change, there is very little to what an individual can do. But I have always said this is a Herculean task. And as a young person, I believe there are key ingredients expected from me. I'm happy because we have the team. This is the fruit of a teamwork. The policy, the environmental pollution control law, and all other policy reforms are courtesy of the deepness of our team. You can see, apart from the traditional rulers and other stakeholders, this hall is being surrounded by young people. Young people that help us push for all these reforms in the ministry, and young people that are willing to go as far as we can in seeing that Kano lead in climate resilience. Thank you, Paul.
It's also this issue, because from policy to practice to action, what was important for us in PACE, I think, is also looking at impact. So what time frame? We've seen the implementation, but we know there are always problems with fund releases, impact, and all that. So how do we begin to see some level of impact or effects immediately within the next, especially looking at the next political cycle in another 2 years, which may also, sorry, I may be putting you on task, but at least let's, so how do we do that and begin to see those impacts and fund releases immediately?
Well, the most important thing is implementation. We're very much aware of that. And that is why in my speech, I stated clearly that we are inaugurating a steering and technical committee today. Those that are going to oversee the implementation of the climate change policy. And, you know, there are activities that we have been able to do, activities that are supposed to be done after the climate change policy. But because of the zeal that the administration have, for all of us that are here in Kano can attest to the fact that there are a lot of climate-friendly projects that are currently ongoing, one of which is the solarization of our street. Sometimes people doesn't talk about carbon offset. Most of these climate change issues are caused by carbon emissions. Experts said prior to 1950, there is nothing called climate change. But since the Industrial Revolution and from 1950 upwards, experts said the world population have tripled. We are using more machines, airplanes, cars, and everything contributing to emission. People producing byproduct in form of and all of that. But the state government is trying to cut down that emission. We have been relying on diesel generators for decades. Now His Excellency has been off and doing, ensuring that there is no Kano street that is relying on that. I will give you this example. When I was serving as the Akasal project coordinator, when we got into office, I learned that we were using 50 kVA generator, and that generator consumed about 40 liters of diesel on a daily basis. We did the math. A liter of diesel emitting 2.5 kg, while we are consuming 40 liters on a daily basis. That took us to 105 kg of carbon monoxide in a single MDA.
Wow.
And when we multiply that to 5 working days, although since I get into office right from Akasal, we have never take any weekend break. People can testify that, so we have been working around the clock. But with the 5 working days, you learn that you're emitting about 525 kg of carbon monoxide. When you do the math in a year, you see that you're emitting about 12.5 metric tons of carbon. We present the fact to His Excellency. Right then and there, he gave us the approval to solarize that MDA. Today, when you go to Akasa, you learn that we are fully solarized. We are not using anything diesel. And this is a model that has been extended to other MDAs. And when I got appointed as commissioner, I learned that I'm in a completely new environment again. But as I said, we have the political will from His Excellency, and then we have the passion to drive this. It's not about the paperwork. We want to make impact. We want to see, sustainable impact. And we want to, write our names in goals to say that, okay, young people are capable, young people can do this. Maybe that is why we are going extra mile to do all these things. Thank you.
Okay. Ambassador Rabi, he has talked about impact, about the youths and the rest. But I just noticed one thing when we are coming up here. Sorry, I'm going to play the devil's advocate here. you had problem coming up, and then there are no provision for the disabled people and some of the marginalized group. So to what extent is the state, you've been part and parcel of the development of this policy and part of it, how far has that been inclusive enough in terms of the whole of society approach?
Saying that climate change has been a problem that have embedded the whole society and especially Kano State. And this is because Kano State is at the Sahel region, which is sometimes very cold, and the climate is not stable, and it affects our health due to its dynamism, and then not stable anyway. Sometimes there is extreme hot, sometimes it is very cold, sometimes the rain is just too heavy. And on that note, Nigeria in 2012 decided to put on a law that will take care of this climate change. Now, in Kano State, the government of Kano State have tried for persons with disability and older persons. This law in particular, or this policy in particular, is inclusive because I was part and parcel of this law. And I want to assure you that despite the fact some of the private and public buildings are still not accessible, but we have been trying our best to advocate and to make the public and private organization make it fit in to make all this infrastructure put in place for disability. I am also years of advocacy before it was later passed into law by the late President Muhammadu Buhari. But in Kano, even this policy, it took us just a year before it was finally passed. And I was also part of the social protection persons with disability, the older persons, at least to take care of our vulnerability. Because we are the most vulnerable in the society. While I can say most people here are younger persons, like the Honorable Commissioner rightly said, this is not supposed to be so. He who wears the shoes knows where it pinches most. There is supposed to be inclusion of more persons with disability, more older persons, so that they will give their input. Like the community of persons with disability are intersectional. We are diverse. We have too many clusters. We have the cluster of the blind, cluster of the deaf, cluster of the physically challenged, cluster of the albinism. And the older persons cannot be separated from us. Once you are 60, you will stop hearing very well. You will start using glasses.
I may intervene also, because I know you will continue this advocacy for the next.
Yeah.
But now, how are you interacting with the disability agency that has been set up by Kano State?
Yes, I want to also commend Kano State because they have tried for us. They have tried for the vulnerable. We have a Ministry of Women Affairs, Children, and Persons with Disability. The Ministry of Humanitarian have recently been put in place, while the Agency for Social Protection have also put in place. But since I'm also a member of the framework that is going to continue the action plan,
we are still going to put more effort to advocate to those ministries and the other relevant stakeholders to like put persons with disability and the older person at the forefront. To intervene in our affairs are very, very expensive. Because if you are a person with disability, if you are physical, you need your +1 to help you carry your computer, your whatever, like if you are going to a function, and even though we have to get a person with disability to, physically okay, somebody to help you. We call it +1 anyway.
Okay.
If you are blind, if someone is blind, he needs a +1 for his mobility. And likewise, if someone is deaf, he needs an aid, a sign language interpreter to help him.
Thank you. So, Prof, you've been a brain behind some of those things. And you've been, and the advantage is you've been in the system also for a long time. The system for decades as a technocrat, and now you are wearing the hat of the academic. So now let's look at this from research and other studies that will help to move some of those things in terms of research, data gathering, and then focus and all those ones. Where are we on that? We've heard so much from the commissioner, and how is that integrated into the implementation policy?
Thank you, Honorable, for bailing me out. Yes, I think that is a very good question. I think the two documents we've just launched really are very valuable. To me, over the years, before this document, the big elephant in the room was climate change. In a room that was dark, no light. Everybody involved was just touching what is in his front. And of course, when you do that, you come up with a different perception, different interpretation. What these documents have done is to illuminate the room. So now everybody is seeing the elephant. But I think we must commend PACE for doing this, but it is also the beginning of the real hard work. What is the hard work? There are three areas. One, I think the most difficult one is coordination. I think Mr. Robinson has insinuated several times in his remarks the issue of coordination. And my experience in the last 6 months suggests there are two types of issues. Horizontal coordination between ministries within the state, and vertical between the national government, national policy, state policy, and the local government. Everybody needs to know what the other is doing. Otherwise, the policy will not work. The action plan will not work. And, I cannot take the permission of my honorable commissioner, but I'll just give you an example of what happened, I think, to the ministry. Just about 4 or 5 months back, the honorable minister asked us to represent him in a discussion with a team from Morocco, the Tauba group, who were into land regeneration. We had 2 online meetings. We raised a lot of issues. And we agreed that they would come down to Kano to really see how we can sort out those issues. They came, but not to the ministry. We received another invitation of a launch of a program in the Ministry of Agriculture. And again, the Honorable Commissioner asked us to represent him. When we got there, we saw the same Toba team launching the same program they were trying to sell to the Kano State Ministry of Environment and Climate Change. So you can see that climate change is such a cross-cutting issue that everybody seems to have the right to partake in it. If we don't coordinate well, we will operate in such a disjointed matter that instead of solving the problem, we are going to intensify it. And the second other issue, I know you are trying to stop me, it's really the issue of communication. Climate change is a local thing. Even though the impact is global, but damage to the environment is done at the local level. And therefore, if we need to have any change, we have to reach the local people. We have to communicate. Now, how do we communicate to the local people? I'm happy our leaders are here. Our traditional fathers are also the custodians of our language. If we say environment in Hausa, for instance, we translate it, I think, commonly as Mahalli. Even in the translated Kano pollution law, environment was referred to as Mahalli. But is Mahalli a correct translation of the environment? Is it? And this is not peculiar to Hausa language. I studied in University of Ife. So my Yoruba is still, I hope they are Yoruba-speaking people. The Yoruba term for environment is, if I can still remember, is area. And that is also restrictive. So the point I'm making here is that all along we have failed really to develop the appropriate way of communicating climate change information to the communities. And if we don't do that well, we are not likely to succeed. And finally, there is the issue of engagement with the communities, what often we refer to as sensitization. Now, what do we mean by sensitization? Sensitization means getting people to realize that they are responsible for their action. That if they cut a tree, there will be less rainfall. There will be erosion. There will be flooding. Okay. If you dump your waste in the gutters, there will be flooding. So how many of us are doing that? Okay. How many of us are getting the right kind of communication and the right kind of engagement, sensitization in such a way that communities
are involved
at the local level are involved, but also responsible.
Thank you.
So these are the areas of research that I think pays.
Okay.
Should know that their work is just beginning.
Okay.
Not the end.
I like that. I like that, Prof. You see, Prof has smartly provided himself terms of reference for the future things that we're going to do. Well done. Before I go to, I think I will give notice to the Honorable Commissioner that Prof has raised two fundamental issues, which I will get back. But let me go around first. The issue of engagement, the issue of communication, and also, most importantly for me, I think that issue of coordination is something that PACE has seen as a potential problem, which presently, even at the national level, you're having that issue. But now let's come to the gritty nitty of it. Government is an enabler. Kano is center of commerce for centuries. And today, if we are talking about solarization and the rest, it's the private sector that's doing it, not government agency. So, sir, to what level can invest and the state government in terms of investment, providing an enabling environment and leading investment and crowding in by the private sector?
Thank you so much, Mr. Moderator. This is really a tough question, but at Kano State Investment Promotion Agency, we truly prioritize climate resilient investments, especially as we are to launch our 5-year multi-sectoral investment strategic plan, which intends to put together a framework such a way that, oh my God, maybe someone's mic is yours. Yeah, thank you. So we intend to put together an investment plan that would attract over $10 billion investment in Kano, inshallah, over the next 5 years. And how do we intend to do this? We look at sectors that are climate resilient. We look at sectors that contribute mostly to our GDP. We look at sectors that also will create more job opportunities in line with the climate change policy. And then soon to do hybrid rice, which is going to consider the adaptation and mitigation strategies and as well as climate resilient. Secondly, you talked about solar, and the Commissioner also mentioned solar. In Kano currently, we have over 3,600 industries, small, medium, and large scale. These industries continue to emit carbon. These industries continue to accumulate wastes. These industries also need electricity for them to improve on their production. And then we realize that the current demand estimated for electricity in Kano is around nearly 1,000 megawatts. And what we have from the national grid, which comes down to the state dispatch on a daily basis, is nearly around 100 to 150 megawatts. And then we begin to realize, how do we propose new strategies to attract new investment that these industries would have stable electricity, and as well, it will also be climate resilient. Then we begin to do solar investment, in which currently we are to launch 40 megawatt in Kano State as part of our Light Up Kano initiative in order to make these industries available for electricity. Secondly, we've also signed a $15 million investment, which is mostly on CNG program. And this CNG program intends to reduce carbon emission by transforming vehicles to climate resilient, also in terms of electric vehicles, in terms of CNG, and to reduce the use of diesel and PMS. We've also signed an investment with Greenville that are going to supply CNG. And already these industries have started opting for CNG rather than diesels, which is also costly and also emit more carbon. The third aspect is waste. We understand, despite the effort on a daily basis by the Ministry of Environment and also RIMASAB are evacuating a lot of waste. So we realize that there are a lot of waste in Kano, which is mostly organic. Then how do we attract investment to ensure that people see value in waste? People see waste as tangible economic activity, rather than just dispatching them, rather than just disposing them at every place they want to. On a daily basis, the Ministry of Environment does that, but you see the accumulation of waste again and again. So we tend to commence a strategy which is going to be Waste to Wealth, in collaboration with the Ministry of Environment. And the idea behind this is to attract investment that will turn the waste into value, that people would see waste as tangible economic activity, and also to begin a situation whereby people will be saying, this is my waste. No, this is my waste. Commissioner will say, this is my waste. I will say, this is my waste. So we tend to really go into that by prioritizing investment. And Kano State government, under the able leadership of His Excellency Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf, is giving us all the enabling environment and platform to make sure that Kano stands to be climate resilient, and we're able to attract smart investment that will, mitigate climate change happens. Thank you.
I will take Professor. I know Prof is, because we had the discussion in the last summit we had about waste potential and the rest. we are looking at billions of naira in terms of, and that is why you don't find any metal anywhere on the road, anywhere in Kano again, because that has been commercialized. It's the non-biodegradable ones that plastic that we can look at. Honorable Commissioner, he talked about coordination as a major, given the example of the Moroccans that have come, from Minister of Education now to Agri, and then you having silos, seemingly silos approach to the whole drive that we are looking at, and it's the state government policy to be inclusive and whole society. So how are we addressing that?
Well, I have that. For example, we wanted to establish the climate change policy for the state. The ministry can decide to do that with the permanent secretary, the relevant directors and peers, and just bring it out and say this is a policy document. But we know when we do that, the other stakeholders that you are expecting to help you implement that policy are not part and parcel of that policy document. So there is definitely going to be a problem in implementation. So this is an all-inclusive system, an all-inclusive policy, and we have been advocating for that. And whatever we do at the ministry, we try to ensure that whatever we're doing is being made people-centered, and in other way, community-based and community-driven. That is the key. That is the first thing. A lot has been said regarding sensitization, but the main thing is sensitization is not the only issue. For example, waste has been cited as an example. When you talk about waste, I doubt if there is any other state that has, the quantum of waste that Kano has. For example, based on our findings and the research that has been carried out, an individual is generating about 0.55 kg of waste on a daily basis. So with a population of 20 million people in Kano, you will see that you are emitting about 10 to 11,000, metric tons of waste. That is huge. A lot of companies, when we came into office, have been reaching out to Kano with a lot of circular economy initiatives. But we are not rushing because we have seen what the state has done previously. We don't want to get into litigations and everything. All we're doing is assessing them, seeing the capability, because you can meet a person on the road and he will tell you that there is a lot of money in waste. But when you ask him what has they done before, they cannot even cite an example. So that is why when we have been confronted that there is a potential, for example, in compost manure, in plastic recycling, in waste to energy, we look back, the state had this compost plant in Orei, a mini one that has not been working since 2014. And part of the issue is because there is no proper waste sorting. So we succeeded in renovating that compost plant. As of today, that facility is working and we're producing compost. We're doing that not because it is going to supply the demand of the people of Kano, but we're doing it for two reasons. One, to show the private sector that this is possible. You can come and do it. And the second, to prove, because I have seen the coordinator pollution control here, during our first production, we sent a sample to the lab for assessment so that we can be able to present the findings and share with the Minister of Agriculture and say, look, we have an option. Instead of us to be fully relying on inorganic fertilizer, harming the soil, contributing to biodiversity effect, killing aquatic lives and what have you, we can try this compost. And that is going to help us in getting rid of waste, because we are not just going to sensitize the community on how they can handle waste, but at the same time creating value on waste so that they will say, okay, this is a valuable thing that we can produce something out of. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Commissioner. I think some of the initiatives that are there, I can cite His Royal Highness here, as we can see the Green Legacy, some of the things they are doing. Now, Kano Invest, To what extent are we targeting such ones, and what specifically in terms of incentive and motivation are we providing for allow that? And also, for the disabled ones, how are we bringing them into taking up small part of that value chain?
Yeah, so our approach is actually all-inclusive, including not really disabled, well, we call them people with special needs. We do also provide lucrative incentives that are actually the best that you can have. Aside from providing land, tax waivers, the government is looking at also promoting this private sector, these industries. As part of our aftercare service, we've mapped the over 3,600 in Kano, and the idea behind this is to be going to each and every industry to ensure that, are you really doing well? We don't want you to live for Kaduna, or we don't want you to live for Ogun or Lagos. So these are really investments that we give much importance for. And it's not just to look at FDI, but what are your current investment are? What's the current investment in the state? In Nigeria, no any foreign investor that has invested so much as Dangote has done in Nigeria. The same thing applies to Kano. We've had, based on the mapping that we did, we realized that we have currently over 200 billion naira investment in Kano. This is across various sectors, manufacturing, through the recycling business, through the agriculture, and what have you. So our idea is to ensure that we provide incentives that are relevant to these industries in such a way that they will remain in Kano and they will be looking forward for expansion. Also, data was telling us about 70-something% of these industries are looking forward to expansion. Based on what they have, they are currently expanding. The national also, Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council report indicated that Kano, Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt are the states that all investors in Nigeria are looking forward to investing and are also looking forward to expanding. So I think there's great potentials, and to push forward to see how we can bring in new initiatives that will make people comfortable to come and invest in the state. Thank you.
In a minute or two, because we have to start rounding off. What are those areas that we have everybody here? The environment is here, the money man is there, the government, the SSD has assured the governors that this is the focus now. We are moving from policy, practice, action to impact. So in just a minute or two, what are the basic needs and the message you want to pass on to the government quickly in terms of intervention?
All right, sir. Number one, let me start by correcting you. We don't want to be addressed as disabled.
Okay, people with special needs.
Not people, persons.
Persons, okay, persons with special needs.
Yes, because you can make it plural and you can make it singular. Okay. A person with disability and persons with disability. Okay. Then secondly, we have a stake in all the MDAs. You have just, okay, anyway, you said we are all here, and above all, our Honorable Commissioner is here. The message I want to pass on behalf of persons with disability and the older persons in Kano is that, number one, we want inclusive decision making. We want an environment whereby persons with disability should be included in the decision making. And the way and manner, inshallah, that they want to do it, they should make it happen. Because when it comes to politics, persons with disability don't have the power and the resources to contest. But we want to be in decision making so that we can voice our feelings, because we who wears the shoes knows where it pinches most. Right? Then number two, we want accessible early warning system. Like it is ongoing that there's going to be drought. Then coming to our people that cannot hear, how do they know that there's going to be drought? How did they be proactive about the drought that is going to happen, which may even lead to famine, but we are not praying for that. Then number 3, we want inclusive climate action funds. There are fundings that are being given to people, like grants, soft loans, to like take proactive measures. So people with disability and the older persons don't access such funding. Then number 3, we want inclusive health, education, and economic system. This is like to say older persons are more vulnerable. Older persons and persons with disability are more vulnerable when it comes to climate change in terms of their health.
Yeah.
If there is serious rainy season, older person, it affects their mental health, and sometimes persons with disability cannot go out to even look for their daily bread.
Yeah.
How do we do this? Then we also want accessible information. I've said that already. We want capacity building and awareness. I think I've said that also. Okay. We want our capacity built. Like you can see, I can speak fluent English. Yeah. I'm a person with disability from the village. I'm from Ngezawa, born and bred up in Jogana. There are, in all the space of, what do you call it? We can do it. There are many people, 1,001 of persons with disability like me, and that are even more capable than me. Remember, we had a professor who is late. We had Barrister Anlami. We have doctors, pharmacists, amongst us.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir. Let me just learn in a minute. Not only for us to be, I check on benchy them. No, we want us to be there so that we can talk on behalf of other people, and we can also talk on behalf of persons with disability.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Now, I'll go to Prof. Please, no long list. In terms of the academia and also being the practitioners that are there supporting the system from both inside and outside, what are those things that you want us to take a look at in just about a minute or two?
Yes, I know a lot of people will be fed up with me because I will repeat the same thing. It's the issue of governance. Governance is key. There is nothing wrong with the policy. The Honorable Commissioner in the community. What is the role of the local governments? Again, I will give an example. The policy here keyed into the national policy. The NCCC, the National Council on Climate Change of Nigeria, does not include the state governments. So which means there is a disconnect. And this may look mundane issues, but in really getting everybody on board, I think we need to fix these loopholes. And I think pace, if they continue in the same trajectory, we'll get there. Thank you.
Sir, in terms of investment, what good news and what advice can you give the teaming investors here, even the donors and whatever it is, in terms of where it pitches most for the investment agency, and how can they interact and get more from whatever you are doing?
I think whenever I'm being asked a question around what we can pitch or to pitch Kano, I would just say I'm from Kano. Kano, everyone knows our potentials, and whatever you need, whatever you do in terms of investment is market. And with our over 22 million population, which is more than the population of some African countries, our GDP as well, growing from 15 to $20 billion, it speaks volume around what Kano is up to in terms of investment. So we
advertising for investment. Lastly, we would like to also call on our partners to support the government in terms of implementing this or in terms of keying this. Government resources are limited, and there are a lot of resources out there, especially from climate finance, adaptation fund, green environment fund. There are, carbon credit. There are a lot of resources out there that the state needs capacities, that the state needs, support to be able to access some of those funds. Government cannot do it alone. We really call for private partnership that we can work together very closely in order to utilize this for the best interest of over 22 million population. Thank you.
Honorable Commissioner, as the custodian and then the chief host for all of us, so what is the takeaway, and then what good news can we expect and for the generality of the people and the whole society?
Well, I think one of our biggest win is the ability to bring all stakeholders on board, the ability to understand that we cannot do it alone. We have to engage people with determination. They said people with specialists, but I said people with determination. The traditional rulers, the Council of Ulamas, the government agencies, development partners, and all other critical stakeholders. We have brought them on board. And we have been able to communicate thoroughly that the task to building a better society is a cumulative effort. We as government are there to lead, and we are leading. But we want whatever we're doing, and we have put it, in our mind that whatever we're doing, we are going to bring some touches of innovation and touches of, sustainability. And at the same time, we're trying as much as we can to ensure that all our achievements are being made community-based, community-driven. And we'll ensure that we do not dwell on that. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will be drawing the curtain here. So in summary, we've had discussion around issue of moving from policy, which has been launched today, to the practical aspect of it, what are the practices. We've looked at some of the issues and challenges around that, around coordination, around sensitization, communication, and whole society approach, and most importantly, finance. And then also the crowding of the private sector. What role is each and every segment of the society will be playing, which is very crucial. And like the Honorable Commissioner said, it's not only a government action, but also it's a call to action for each and every part of the society to actively and also commit to that action and be dedicated to it, because the future is here. We have started seeing some of the impact and effect of the climate change affecting economic, social, and so many and so forth. So, and I'm happy that we're having, we've also demonstrated, this last 2 days have demonstrated commitment from the society. His Royal Highness is here as an example. The persons with disability and people with needs, as have been corrected, to take that into cognizance. And then also the private sector. So the donors and everybody. So let's all come on deck. The ministry is opening itself. There's no perfect action. There's no perfect thing. But practice will evolve over the period. So ladies and gentlemen, with this, we say thank you. And thank you for your listening and contribution. Thank you.
the executive governor of Kano State, to myself and to a random person, a woman, in any remote part of Kano State, climate change is everybody's business, and we need to be able to communicate this. So one thing I would be looking forward to, I'm happy the Honorable Commissioner is just behind me, is a translation of this policy, one, and then wide publicity and communication, especially through radio and television. And also creating awareness programs around the policy and how each and every single individual and member of society what role they can play, what role each and every one of us can play. Like they say, charity begins at home. And like the slogan goes, change begins with me. Each and every one of us here, I would like each and every one of us here to, even though we've not read the policy very well, but to make a commitment that we are going to support this policy in whatsoever way we can. The simple support could be just to gather people around you and to educate them around climate. I was very happy to hear something like, instead of telling people about climate change, because the word climate change itself, sounds too elitist. It's more of a city conversation, an urban conversation. But when you tell people that floods are coming if we continue on our terrible habits, they would understand that. If we tell them that droughts are coming, food is going to be scarce, food is going to be expensive, they would understand and they would relate more with that. I'm happy Green Legacy are here and they're doing wonderful work around that, but we can all support the State Ministry and the Federal Ministry of Environment also in this climate action. That has been the panel. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gradually moving closer to the end of this event. Before I invite the team at Startup Kano for the showcase, I want to recognize the presence of Alhaji Dr. Awalumudi Yakase, the Malikin Kano District Head, Hakim Rimangado. A round of applause, please, for him. Thank you, sir. Also, Alhaji Dr. Aminu Wadafanda, Sarkin Dawaki Babangaya, who is also a consultant with Green Legacy. Thank you so much for coming. Moving on, by the special grace of God, in about 30 minutes, we should be able to break for prayers and take our lunch. But before then, I want to invite the team from Startup Kano, especially or particularly Samuel Ubido, who is the chairman, Technovet Group, all the way from UK, to come and lead this innovation showcase, climate action showcase. What we'll be doing technically is just to showcase a few ideas, innovative ideas from Kano State that are aimed at solving the issue of climate change. Many of the ideas are technology-based because most of these innovators are looking at how we can use technology to combat climate change. One, and then two, because every challenge presents an opportunity, every problem presents an opportunity. So some of these innovators are using technology to leverage the opportunities that are around as a result of some of the adverse effects of climate change. So Samuel Ubido, please proceed as you lead this innovation showcase. And a round of applause for him, please.
Good afternoon, all protocols duly observed. My name is Samuel Ubido, the chairman of Technovet Group. I'm also a venture partner in a fund called First City Capital, where we invest in the fintech ecosystem within Africa. We'll collaborate closely with Startup Kano around ecosystem building, and when they mentioned to us about this climate change policy launch, we thought it was quite important. The first stage is policy, second stage is implementation. And what we see is a lot of foreign solutions are being used, but we want to encourage a local ecosystem whereby we use solutions made in Kano, invested by Africans and Nigerians, and then also implemented. And also, what we do is collaborate with government around two events. So we're working with the Saudi government around an innovation roadshow around climate change, and also for hunger as well, looking at around green climate and ecosystems event. For me and for us, we're keen to see how the good work which the Commissioner is doing and the Governor is doing is showcased on global stages, bringing in investors and bringing in partners. And I must say I commend the work being done here from a policy point of view, and Kano is leading the ecosystem for the Northern Nigerian ecosystem. That's all from me. Also my first time in Kano, so very impressed with the architecture and also the hospitality. So I would like to invite Ahmed from Startup Kano. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. My name is Ahmad from Startup Kano, and I'm going to be introducing the startups. So first we have 3 Waste. So 3 Waste is an e-waste recycling initiative aimed at helping both consumers and businesses recycle their discarded electronics. Please give it up for 3 Waste.
Hello, good day, everyone. My name is Hayatuddin Mustafa. I'm the founder of 3 Waste. 3 Waste is a digital technology solution that enables us to dispose our electronic waste responsibly while we do material recovery. First of all, what is e-waste? E-waste are added electronics that are no longer functional or needed. We have our phones that are no longer functional, our laptops. What do we do when they become obsolete? They are no longer working. We end up tossing it aside or dumping it, but this is value. So a few years ago, I wanted to raise money and I don't know what next to do. So I have this old CPU in my room that is already obsolete, no longer functional. And I got talking with a friend, and he made me to understand that there's a recycler, somebody who recycles it, turns it into value. I took it to this recycler, and I made 11,000 naira. 2 things happened to me that day. I was excited because I made money, and the second thing is it opened my world to a new world of opportunity, so which led me into starting 3 Waste. So this is the problem. Over 62 million tons of electronic waste are being discarded globally. These e-waste are worth valuables in minerals such as copper, aluminum, gold, and rare earth metals. So most of these waste end up in the landfills. People dump them, and it is value. So at 3 Waste, we are basically turning this problem into an opportunity. We're building a platform that enables a typical user to dispose their waste by scheduling a pickup while we go to their doorsteps to collect it, and we exchange cash. We give them cash for their waste. We give them value. So is it that they bring it to us while we give them value, or we go to them and collect it? Next slide. So here's how it works. A typical user can schedule a pickup while we come to collect. Next slide. So here is how we make money. So we make money through material recovery, we recover valuable minerals, we recycle, we upcycle. We also help people to manage their data assets professionally. So here's our traction. Next slide. The US market is worth $58 billion. So, and here in Nigeria, the obtainable market is $400 million. Next slide. We are keen on partnerships, or we are trying to establish more collection centers. We are also diversifying our offerings. Next slide. So here's the team. Next slide. Our ideation was incubated at Innovate Lab here in Kano. And in our last pitch, we were onboarded by AfriVenture Capital for mentoring and fundraising. So thank you for listening.
All right, that was 3 Waste. So next up is Cyclex Africa. So Cyclex Africa is also a climate-initiated startup. So they help students pay their WAEC, NECO, and JAM using waste. So please give it up for Cyclex Africa.
Please, just before he comes up, we have a little emergency. There is a car, Mercedes, which is green in color with license number TOFA. Please, you are blocking someone that needs to be at the airport right now. If it can be moved, Mercedes green TOFA. Okay, next.
Cyclex Africa.
Good day, everyone. I believe waste in northern Nigeria is not waste until northerners waste. I said I believe waste in northern Nigeria, in Kano, in Katsina, in Jigawa is not waste until we northerners waste. I see an Africa where we don't have to find recyclables such as plastic nylons or even heavy metals littered across our landfills or our waterways because an average northerner is able to see the economic and environmental value from sustainable recycling and waste management. If you can't see this northern Nigeria, let me show you. My name is Sule Wisdom David. I'm the founder of CycleX Africa, and CycleX Africa, we have been able to build the future of sustainable waste management and recycling, driven by a software mobile application. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Driven by a software mobile application that's able to allow users of this application exchange their recyclable trash for cash incentives, and also have other in-app value services for this in-app. And also offline, we're also able to allow people who don't have access to mobile devices get real-time value in cash for their recyclables in real time. How does our solution work? Next slide, please. It's very simple. We are a community-driven solution. We take our solutions to communities and onboard communities as our waste banks. We get to partner with community chiefs and stakeholders to give spaces in these communities to store waste. We then onboard waste collectors in these communities who are very much available to collect waste from our users on the app. We then now encourage users to go on the app and exchange their waste. We'll link them to the closest waste collector who then takes this waste to our waste bank that can now be recycled. And we are currently shipping these recycled materials to Asia and Europe at the moment. Next slide, please. Previous slide. We know that the waste management market size in Africa is very huge, and there's a huge market potential which cannot be overemphasized. We have over a $20 billion African waste management market. Nigeria alone has over a $2 billion waste management market size. And we don't even want to go to the global market of waste management. That's over $1.3 trillion. But we are looking at even just 0.03% of this $2 billion African waste management market size in like the next 5 years. Next slide, please. Our traction so far it's been amazing. We were able to launch last year in around Bayero University Kano environment of Kano, Nigeria. In launching the solution from April last year till now, we've been able to recycle over 50,000 kilograms of waste, thereby reducing over 35 metric tons of CO2 from the atmosphere. We've also been able to onboard over 2,000 users on our platform alongside 50 plus waste collectors who are agents, and established 20 plus remote storage facilities in Kano and also Abuja, Nigeria. Next slide, please. Our solution is unique. We have other softwares that are able to offer similar services, but we have things that make us unique on our product. We are very keen on youth and women engagement. We allow Nigerian youth and students pay for their WAEC, JAM, and NECO with waste. So we can just tell them you can bring 500 pieces of plastic bottles and get your WAEC and JAM fees paid, instead of regularly bringing cash on our system. So we drive these solutions in campuses and schools. We're already partnering with the University of Abuja and also pushing with the Bayero University Kano, Nigeria, to also see how we can facilitate these things and encourage students in Kano, Nigeria to also do more from waste recycling through these initiatives. We also offer on-demand waste pickup services, unlike other competitors who schedule pickup dates for their waste. What they do is that they say last Friday of the month they are coming to Nasarawa GRA to pick up waste, so everybody has to wait till that last Friday. We don't do that. We already have local waste collectors close to you on our network that we can just link you up to the person. Instantly you get your waste exchange, and when the person confirms it, we pay you on the app. You can now withdraw in real time without having to waste up until you recycle date for your waste to be exchanged for cash or other valuables in the app. Our current revenue model is simple. We are already making about a 16 to a 20% profit margin on sales of recycled materials locally. We are looking at expanding into the carbon and the plastic credit market, alongside expanding our in-app value services and monetizing our user traffic. Next slide, please. The team is made up of myself, Sule Wisdom. I'm a founder and a technical expert with over 5 years of experience in software development. I'm also by academic profession an environmental engineer. We have our chief financial officer, Emily Alebru, with over 19 years of banking experience, and our operations manager is a mechanical engineer with our strategy is very simple. We partner with communities, partner with businesses. We're also looking at partnering with government bodies and also educational facilities to drive circular economy and climate change. Next slide, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. On behalf of Startup Kano, and I would thank everybody for listening.
A round of applause, please, for the presenters. These are solutions out of Kano, technological solutions to the issue of waste. Nobody would have believed if we had said some 10, 15 years ago that in the future you would use an application to not just collect waste through application, but to submit your used plastic bottles and use the proceeds to pay for jam. I think that's a remarkable piece of marketing for your application. And round of applause for that gentleman. But the future is here. This is happening. More of this are going to happen. We're going to see more of that. And then the challenge ahead of us is to see how we can partner and support these innovative ideas and scale them and also bring them to life. Ladies and gentlemen, in about 15 minutes, would bring this event to a close. But just before that, 2 more items on the agenda. One is a presentation by the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change. And then last would be the vote of thanks, and then we close the event. To lead us in this presentation, I would call on Mr. Mubarak Daha, who is the Special Advisor to the Honorable Commissioner on Technology, Communication, and Media. He's going to present the ministry's website that has just been developed. And this website is not just a regular website where you see information about us or the picture of the Honorable Commissioner in his office, but they want for it to be a gateway where people can interact with the ministry, one, and for the ministry to also reach the large number of people in Kano State. This website has been launched with the intention for it to serve as a gateway for information, for access to information beyond climate, but every other relevant information as it affects the people. So Mubarak Daha is going to take us through what this website has to offer and how we can interact with the website. A round of applause for Mubarak Daha as he does that.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mubarak Daha Isa, as mentioned. We launched the Kano State Ministry of Environment and Climate Change website with a mission of creating an interface where a public could interact with the ministry directly and can access information and resources that the ministry provided. And we understand that for decades, data access has been an issue, especially through government. And we want to bridge that gap by providing a comprehensive interface where people could actually access this information. While the technical team are trying to bring the website off, this is the link to the website, environment.kn.gov.ng. You can open it on your phone, but I will try to explain what are those things that you could be able to do on the website. So this is the standard access link to the website, which is environment.kn.gov.ng. So if you open the website, there are a couple of things that you could be able to do. You could be able to access all the information about the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change and the Kano State mandate on environment and climate change by His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Kano State, Alhaji Bakabir Yusuf. You will be also able to access some of the agencies of the ministry, like WECMA. You could be able to also access REMASAP. You could also be able to access CANAP. You could also be able to access Sustainable Kano. Those are the 4 major agencies at the ministry. You could be also able to access link to the to AgriSal project is also on the website. So beyond access to the agencies and their information, you could also be able to report environmental issues. Anything that you have seen, whoever has been following the activity of the ministry on social media, they will be able to know that we have been sharing information about how people could quickly report information about environmental issues. So to streamline that effort, we provided also a link on the website where you could be able to now directly report.
And there are desk officers that are on standby looking at this issue, filtering them, verifying, and also forwarding them to relevant people that can take immediate action. This is an initiative of the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Environment and Climate Change, Dr. Tahir M. Hashim, to ensure that our effort is people-centered and people effort has been recognized. So this is the homepage of the website. You can see the homepage about us, the agencies, resources. Resources is another important, section on the website, because as you can see in the souvenir we have provided today, there is a copy of the just launched Kano State Climate Change Policy, the Kano State Environmental Pollution Control Law 2022, both in English and Hausa. There is also a copy of Kano State Environmental Pollution and Waste Control Regulation 2025, also in English and Hausa. Not just this, a lot of people might not be able to get copy, but we ensure that this copy of this document are also on the website. So we also minimize the number of copies we produce to ensure that people can just directly download it and view it on their mobile phone or on their laptop. So beyond this, you could be able to also, apply for some of the initiative of the ministry, like the 2025 5 Million Tree campaign that we are going to do, which is also a platform on the website. There is also the forest guard recruitment that the ministry is intending to do. Any intended person could now be able to go directly on the portal. They could be able to click apply, and they could apply, and it will going to be reviewed by the ministry, and the ministry will going to reach out to them. So there is much, much more on the website, and it's really, really comprehensive. And I'm very sure if you have encountered something similar to this by any ministry, that should not be in Kano. This is the first of its kind in Kano State, and I'm not just saying this because we have reviewed hundreds of other, not just Kano State, of other ministries in different states, in different countries, to see how they present information to public and how they interact as a citizens-government interaction. And we try to optimize and provide a better service. Thank you.
Well done, well done. I think the ministry has Honorable Commissioner, you're very lucky you have a very wonderful team. I can't wait to see what excellent ideas and innovations come out of the ministry in the next few months and in the next few years. This brings us to the last item on the agenda. I know we want to stay longer, right? Should we set another panel? Okay. We've kept you for too long. Many of you have been here since the very early hours of the morning. Some of us have been here since 8, and many of our dignitaries have been here since very early in the morning. Notable to mention is His Royal Highness, the Emir of Kano, ably represented here. Please, a round of applause for him. He has been here long before some of us even came, and thank you so much for staying true with us till we reach this moment. To thank everybody for coming and for staying this long, I want to invite Malam Awalu Hamza, who is the state team leader for the PACE Kano project, to come and deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the entire team at PACE Kano. A round of applause for him, and not just for delivering the closing remarks or the vote of thanks, but also for ensuring that this event happens. This policy also is a reality. Thank you so much for your support and for FCDO Peace Project also.
Thank you. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله. The Honorable Commissioner, Masigirma Hakime, please allow me to stand on existing protocol. When I was made to understand that I will do the vote of thanks, I thought this is a bit about my mandate. The Honorable Commissioner is the owner of this occasion, and perhaps from our own end is to thank the Honorable Commissioner and the state government for the opportunity. And I also heard that the word opportunity and individual roles in climate action kept resurfacing across the discussions. And I thought perhaps what we do is to thank the Kano state government for giving us that opportunity to play a role, first in supporting the development of the climate change policy and the implementation plan, but also the opportunity to meet other actors on the scene. We've been able to meet Girma Magajingari and his team at Green Legacy. We've also interacted with the team from Rwanda. And there are so many CS groups, individuals working in the ecosystem. So it's thank you for the opportunity to play a role. And as always with opportunities, we'll continue to look for such opportunities to continue to play our role and ensure that at the end of the day, we are listed as contributors to both the intention and the actions of government towards mitigating the impact of climate change. So again, Honorable Commissioner, thank you very much for the opportunity. And we look forward to similar opportunities. And of course, our team has pledged continued support to Kano State government, and we look forward to that. And we look forward to collaborating with other actors in the ecosystem as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mala Awadu from Pace Kano Project. Mun yi suya mun manta da albasa. We had wanted to close this event, but in the wisdom of the Honorable Commissioner, he asked that we specifically invite His Royal Highness, the Emir of Kano, ably represented here by Alhaji Kabir Tijani, Wamban Kano, to come and deliver a brief speech to bless the event, and that signals the official end of our event today. So I have the honor to invite His Royal Highness, the Emir of Kano State, the Emir of Kano, Madam Muhammadu Sunusi, the second Caliph Tijaniya, ably represented by Alhaji Kabir Tijani, Wamban Kano. A round of applause for him, please, as he proceeds to the stage.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ربي اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني ليفقه قولي بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. The Honorable Commissioner for Environment, my colleagues, the district heads, distinguished guests, respected elders, ladies and gentlemen, I'm deeply honored to stand before you today to deliver this message on behalf of His Highness Muhammad Sanusi II, the 14th Emir of Kano. on this occasion of the official launch of the Kano State Climate Change Policy. His Highness extends his warm regards and heartfelt commendation to His Excellency the Governor for his bold leadership and timely action in approving this critical policy in a time when climate changes grow more urgent. Your foresight is both commendable and deeply needed. We also recognize and applaud the Honorable Commissioner for Environment for his tireless work, technical expertise, and commitment to ensuring that Kano takes a proactive stand in addressing climate changes. As we gather here today, we must reflect on the growing vulnerability facing our state. Kano is already confronting the impact of climate change in multiple ways. Desertification is expanding, reducing arable land and endangering food production. Unpredictable rainfall and longer dry season are affecting both farming and water availability. Flooding during the rainy season is displacing families, damaging infrastructures, and disrupting commerce. Water scarcity is worsening, especially in the rural and peri-urban communities. Rising temperatures are increasing health risk and reducing productivity. These are not abstract issues. They are affecting the lives of our farmers, traders, women, and youth, and they call for urgent and united action. This policy is more than a government document. It is a call to duty, a call for partnership between government, traditional institutions, the private sector, civil society, and the communities we serve. On behalf of His Highness, I urge all of you to move from policy to practice, from talk to action, and from intention to impact. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless this noble initiative, strengthen the hand of our leaders, and guide us towards resilient, prosperous Kano State for generations to come. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
That has been His Royal Highness, the Emir of Kano, Madam Muhammad Sunusi II, represented by Al-Haji Kabir Tijani Wamban Kano. Thank you so much, sir, for your blessings. Thank you for your presence, and thank you for the warm words and also a vote of confidence on the team, on the ministry, and on other partners that have made this a reality. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of this event, the official launch of Kano State Climate Change Policy, but beyond just the policy and also associated laws. To everybody that made this happen, from the PACE project, Partnership for Agile Governance and Climate Engagement, which is funded by the FCDO, to the Ministry for Environment and Climate Change, and by extension, every other partner that has supported this, from Green Legacy to UNICEF, to the Pulse, to SITES, to NCF, to Sustainable Action for Nature, to ARIN, to USANKA Foundation, Startup Kano, and many other partners, organizations, and civil society organizations and companies, private sector companies that have supported this. We say a very big thank you to our dignitaries and speakers that have been here since morning and those that joined us a little after time. We want to thank you and appreciate you for your time and for your contribution. Ladies and gentlemen, to everyone that give us their time to attend, morning through afternoon now, early hours of the afternoon, we want to thank you and sincerely appreciate you. I have one request as the host, as I sign out. This hall, the total capacity of this hall is about 250, and seeing that we've filled it to capacity is telling me that a little over 200 people are here. But Kano has a population, according to some estimates, 15 million. According to other estimates, about 20 million. 250 out of 20 million is a negligible number. Each and every person that is here has a responsibility upon them to ensure that we disseminate the information, these ideas, this conversation, these perspectives that we got from here. It has to reach the grassroots. I'm very, very happy the traditional institution, Kano Emirate Council, is represented here. Everywhere I look, we have district heads, we have different members of the Kano Emirate Council. Please, SARS, we want for this information to filter down to the grassroots, because those are the people that are majorly affected. If disasters happen, the elite can decide to leave Kano. God forbid, inshallah, it would not happen, but the elite can choose to leave or have other options. But the poor person living in a remote community in Kano State doesn't have any other option but to remain there. So it affects them so much. So it is very, very important. There's a moral imperative for each and every one of us here, from speakers to dignitaries, to guests that attend this event, this launch, to ensure that we pass this message down to the grassroots. We can do this in different ways. We are members of different associations, organizations, and units. We can ensure that this information is disseminated through our different programs and through the programming of our solutions and initiatives. We can do that. Do I get everybody's commitment to do that here? Okay. I like the notes and the smiles I'm seeing. May God bless Kano State government. May God bless the Ministry for Environment and Environment and Climate Change. May God bless Peace Project, funded by the FCDO. And may God bless each and every single person that attends this event. May the discussions be fruitful. May they help Kano State to mitigate these issues of climate change. As we leave this place, let's put it at the back of our minds that we have the responsibility to ensure that, because this policy, if it remains on paper, it's just another paper, another kind of policy, but we can really make it happen through our various actions. I had said this is the last thing, but then one last thing, since there are too many last things, the last thing we have is, we don't want everybody to just leave. We want everybody to network. Please, before we leave, let's get to know what each and every one of us is doing here, or at least as many as we can interact with, and how we can partner, because this is only possible through partnership. If everybody decides to do their work in silos, we don't get things done. But we can scale the impact. But when we come together, we can scale the impact of what we do. So I want the next, it's about 2 p.m. So I want us to use the next few minutes, about 5, 10, 15 minutes, to please network with each other and see how we can support PACE, how we can support Kano State government, how we can support the State Ministry of Environment and Climate Change in ensuring that this policy really works. So let's use the few minutes. So let's use the next few minutes, about 10 minutes, to please network, after which we can take our lunch. Lunch is going to be served behind, but for the first 2 rows, you're going to be served differently. Lunch is going to be served on all the seats behind. So let's use the next 10, 15 minutes to please network and partner and collaborate. Let there be projects and initiatives out of this. And after that, we take our lunch and then we break for prayers. It has been my honor to host this event and to be with all of you. And I wish you safe journey back to your respective destinations. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين